We have a quorum. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, citizen comment time.
Carl Palmisano?
All right. First up.
Paul Board, President, Trustees. Two short announcements. One, I'm sure most of you already know that I am running for Township Assessor in the April 6th election. Got my certification back in October 2020 with all the classes. So hopefully I'm qualified. We'll go from there. Secondly, more importantly, Coon Creek is definitely going to be on this year. We've been meeting since September, and we've got some safety plans working that we're looking at right now. We're going to follow up, see how some of the other festivals start out as. I think the first one's like end of May, possibly first week of June. The dates are going to be July 29, 30, 31, and August 1st. Waiting to hear from the board as far as the streetscape renovations, as far as rerouting the parade if need be. And also, chief, we might need extra traffic controllers that exceeds normal time. What you say on that, Paul? But I just want to let everybody know that the fest is definitely going to be on this year for 2021.
Great news.
That's it.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's all for this evening.
That's it? Oh. All right. Then you should have the meeting minutes for February 18th. Please review those for any changes. Additions, deletions, predictions. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Klein.
Aye.
Mr. Coe. Coe.
He's muted.
Wait. Mr. Kajeki.
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Mr. Coe.
He's muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
He's muted.
Mr. Coe.
Mark is present.
Thumbs up.
Hello?
He's just a sir.
Thumbs up.
No problem.
Who's in the bathroom?
He's making all kinds of noise. All right.
You try.
Oh, motion passed 6-0.
He goes with majority. All right, village manager Hedges.
The mayor, we would ask for a motion to approve the reappointment of Bill Swalwell to the Business Development Commission and to the Downtown Beautification Subcommittee, both for 3-year term.
Any questions or comments?
Bill Swalwell is amazing. My only comment. So
I agree.
he has been so critically important to the facade program. So not that anybody's opposed to him. I just felt like he deserved that mention.
All right, anything else?
Nope.
I will entertain a motion to reappoint Mr. Bill Swalwell to the Business Development Commission and to the Downtown Beautification Subcommittee, both for a 3-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Kajeki.
Aye.
Mr. Coe.
He says he can hear us.
He just went like that, so I bet he said aye.
Yeah, he's trying to talk, but I think he's still
Get
muted.
it, not, is he muted or what?
It does say mute up there.
Yes?
Oh, no, he's no longer muted.
Not muted.
No, he's no longer muted.
Okay, Ms. Klein,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Cole. Hello?
This is the best Toby's ever sound.
I keep saying aye.
Wait a,
Okay, okay.
we can hear you.
Motion passed 6-0. We can hear you. Thank you.
How are you gonna do your trip, fields and trails report if Toby can't talk tonight?
Exactly. Totally a fair point. Very fair.
Next
Mayor, we would ask for a motion to approve the appointment of Ian Lamb to the Business Development Commission for a 3-year term.
Any comments, Ryan?
Yes, Ian is amazing as well. So he is a valued member of our team. So I would hope that everybody would approve it. So he does a great job.
I do have one question.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Does Ian, where does Ian live at?
Ian lives in Gilbert.
Okay.
So we're allowed to have two non.
No, I was just curious. Just
Yeah,
curious.
he does live in Gilbert. He does bring a very a unique perspective. Being his company, Lamp Construction, is involved in some pretty major sort of municipal involvement. He does bring a lot really good perspective to the board.
He used to live on Highland Avenue years ago.
He did. He lived in and he loves Hampshire, so that's why he came back to contribute. So, so.
Any other questions or comments? All right, then I would entertain a motion to reappoint Ian Lamp to the Business Development Commission for a 3-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Gajeki,
Aye.
Mr. Cole,
Aye.
Ms. Klein,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Mayor, we would ask for a motion adopting a resolution concerning construction in state maintained right of ways. And I'm going to defer to Mr. Ray to explain this to you.
Yes, not long ago, we received a letter from IDOT asking the board to pass the resolution that they sent. So all we did was clean it up and add Hampshire to it a little bit. I confirmed with EEI that, or EEI also recommended that the board pass this resolution tonight. Essentially what it does is it allows the village to have this resolution on file in lieu of securing a surety bond before work is done in state right of ways. EEI did not have any other comments beyond it looks fine to pass.
All right. Any questions?
Has Mr. Schuster evaluated this?
No, we use EEI for pretty much all of our IDOT information, so I did not ask Mark to read it.
And what is the difference between, two questions. One, what is the purpose of a surety bond? And two, what is this in lieu of a surety bond? What's the purpose for that?
The purpose for a surety bond is to assure performance so that the project is done properly. And the purpose of this is to avoid having to go out and produce a bond every time. This resolution puts it on file that it's required. We don't have to come to the board every time a project comes up.
But in lieu of means instead of a surety bond, correct?
Right.
So,
Have a bond?
Jay, if I could just
Yeah, please.
say a quick word. So the resolution states that the village will promises to do construction within the state right of way according to state standards. So that's what's in lieu of posting a bond to ensure they do it correctly. They'll take the village's word, basically stating that they'll do it correctly.
So it's in lieu of us getting a surety bond, not a contract.
Right.
Is that accurate?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
This is for in lieu of the village itself getting a surety bond, not a contractor doing work on the road, but actually the village getting the bond.
Correct. It's for a village. If the village staff, Public Works has to do an emergency repair, some work, this would cover the village. If the village hires a contractor to do the work, the contractor would have to get a bond per the normal process.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Then I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 21-03, a resolution concerning construction and state maintained rights of way.
So moved.
Second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Coe,
Aye.
Ms. Klein,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
You already asked me.
No, you didn't.
No. Aye.
Mr. Rejecki.
That's right.
Aye.
No.
That's all I have tonight, Mayor. Oh, that's what.
Yeah.
That's all we have tonight.
All right, moving on to committee reports, planning and zoning.
Just basically what I reported last time about all the upcoming meetings, they're still upcoming.
No, we have one. Yeah. The planning commission meeting.
Then March 9th for ZBA.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm getting on the calendar right now to double check that meeting time or date.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
7 p.m. on March 9th. And then the public hearing for that project will be at the village board meeting on March 18th, 2 weeks from tonight.
Yep.
And while I'm mentioning that, if I could, Trustee Robinson just mentioned that tonight, all of you will receive the now agreed to development agreement, as well as the new plat that I received this morning, which includes the new parks that we talked about last weekend. So you'll receive that, the engineering report, the water management report, traffic report, fiscal impact study that we've produced internally here at the village. So you'll receive pretty much everything related to the project tonight, 2 weeks in advance of the public hearing.
Very good. Anything further, Mr. Robinson?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Public safety.
I'll refer to the chief.
Nothing unusual to report. We've had a couple incidents that have required quite a bit of manpower. We're currently working on one right now. Further report will be forthcoming once we get a little bit more ground on it. So other than that, we're good.
And your monthly report?
Monthly report, everything seems to be pretty much flat from the previous month. No spikes in anything. Domestics are down, which is unusual, but it's good to know.
All right. Anything further on public safety?
No, sir.
Thank you. Fields and trails.
No report. The ice has melted, or the snow has melted for the most part, because I knew that Toby was going to ask me if they had been plowed. So I walked it myself today. Just kidding.
Village services.
So there is going to be a village services meeting coming up. I'm just waiting to hear from, it looks like I got the message from Trustee Robinson and Trustee Coe. It looks like Tuesday at 5 is the best day, but there's also a ZBA that day, correct?
It's 7.
Oh, that's 7. Okay. So then we'll meet at 5 before the 7 o'clock one. It will be a very short, very quick meeting. The agenda for that meeting, which I will get to, Linda, is basically just to define, or for the Village Services Committee to agree to the process for the refuse and recycling contract steps forward. I will come prepared with a proposal. If Trustee Coe and Trustee Robinson are in agreement, then at the next village board meeting, we'll present what we whether we say we should just consider negotiating a renewal with Waste Management, or if we should officially go out with it, for the board to decide. That will be the only topic for that meeting. So it should be very, very, very quick.
Hold you to that?
Yep.
Very, very good. Okay.
Three, those three.
Those three
I
variants.
heard three variants.
Very clear. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Public Works.
I guess there's a report. I didn't pick my packet up, but there's a report in the packet. So, other than a hydraulic seal break blowing up inside of one of the plow trucks, flooding the interior with hydraulic fluid, things are going good. They got some more salt, so we're ready for one final shot.
Oh.
Is that a new
Hope it
truck?
doesn't come.
No.
Oh,
I can refer to Jay on any new building issues or nothing. I haven't heard anything in months.
New building, you mean Public Works building?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was actually, going to talk to you about that tonight, but I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay. Nothing else to report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Business Development Commission.
Well, we haven't met since the last time I gave a report. We do have a meeting next Wednesday, and we'll continue to work on the things that we're working on. So we're working on the ambassador program, sort of coming up with ideas that we can share with the board on future land development or ideas that we think for commercial land development. And then our entrepreneurial program. So hopefully next meeting, I'll have a little bit more to report after we get together next Wednesday. And we do have another inquiry for the facade program. I don't know if I shared this last time, but there's a member, a building owner on State Street who has reached out to us to inquire. So we hopefully will be getting together with them here shortly. So.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yes, there's two items.
I do. There are some reimbursements, $200 for Nicholas Borsellini and Ryan Granius.
Close enough.
Granius.
Yeah.
So $200 to be paid on before March 10th, 2021.
I entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable number one, the amount of $200.
I'll make your motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
aye.
Mr. Klein. Aye. Mr. Cole,
Aye.
Mr. Gajewski,
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And then the regular accounts payable, $197,887.39 to be paid on or before March 10th, 2021. Any questions?
He doesn't have a second, you can't ask me. There's a bit of an addition here I just want you to know about. Hobart Jones is also on the list for employees. And I don't think that he's not in the total here.
Okay.
So it's 252.11 for the.
But the total amount stays the same.
We'd have to take 52.11 off of the 197.
5211?
$52.11.
197, 835.28.
Christine or Lori, I have a question. The brakes on page 9.
9.
Does it really cost $1,000 to put brakes on a truck?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I have no idea. That sounds crazy. Okay.
Well, the brake pads on it, Ryan, are probably as big as your wheel on your car.
It's
Really?
also rotors and bearings.
This was a police car, not a snowplow.
Oh.
Go.
Somebody's riding the brakes.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, I know a guy who can do it.
60, 70, but the other ones in for the same thing, same price.
Any other questions?
Two.
Yes. Page two?
One, no, sorry, page 8, 2 questions. Page 8, first one is the SSA selective clearing. We've had a ton of snow on the ground. So what clearing did we do in the month of February or January for SSA's 10 and 7?
It was the machine clearing that they do to get rid of the woody species. It was, over in.
Hampshire Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing that
Retention.
they are like we're mad about on.
Yeah, everybody was really excited about the
Taking
piece
down
of
the
the
austere
skin loader with
trees.
the special grinder
That
stuff.
was for 2 different SSAs
Yes.
in one place?
No, they're in separate spaces.
Same thing though.
Yes.
Same thing.
Okay.
And that's work they have to do in the winter. That's the only time they can get in there with their equipment.
Okay, so then my second question isn't necessarily in regards to the cost being, but as far as billing goes in general. I remember our discussion that we have to guarantee so much purchase of salt
So,
because of the state. We also talked about the fact the state didn't have salt to give us because they gave it to IDOT instead of municipalities that needed it. Are we still going to be held accountable to buy it when there's no longer a reason to have salt and it's just gonna
Yes.
sit because the state didn't give us what we needed when we needed it?
Yes.
yes, so under the state contract, you have to purchase, as less as few as 80%,
Right.
or up to 120%, but you are obligated to do that.
Even when they fail to supply.
So, yes, that's accurate.
They'll be hauling salt in July and August, Aaron,
Yeah.
to us.
We only really missed, we had to center line one application, so we only really missed one full application, and even that one we did partially. So it didn't really, while the deliveries were very close, it only impacted one application. I think we had 21 events this year and 49 total entries.
Right. I know this year was bad and I know we needed it and I know that the state didn't get it to us. That's why I was curious if the contract has SLAs for the state to deliver salt as well. But my guess is it's the state and there's no
It's
accountability.
really one-sided.
Yeah, it's the state's contract. Make the deliveries, so.
Gotcha, okay. All right, thank you very much for that. I just wondered if we're gonna continue. Do we pay when it's delivered or is it all chunked?
Delivery.
Yeah,
So
we
like
pay.
this
Invoice.
July, when we deliver, we're gonna be paying for salt that we don't.
We'll use it next year, yeah.
Okay.
Unless we-
We're gonna buy it all again next year.
Right. It's a gamble. The state wins every time.
We're gonna use our fair share this year. I don't think we're gonna put too much salt on it. You know, right now, we're below our safety stock, really.
Gotcha.
Any other questions?
All right. Entertain a motion to approve bills payable number 2, in the amount of $197,835.28.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Klein,
Aye.
Mr. Cole,
Aye.
Mr. Gajeki,
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
motion passed 6-0.
And then don't forget, on Monday, there's a finance committee meeting / working session for the whole board. And that is at 7 o'clock.
7. Okay.
You have a finance question for you.
Okay,
Maybe it's for Lori, but it's
probably
right.
Lauren.
Now that we're in the budget process, the audits are pretty much caught up. When should we start expecting to see balance statements of cash that we have in accounts and then fund balance statements?
So, I would say we need to get through the budget cycle in order to, take on that project. But, as soon as we are past that, we'll have those on a regular basis.
I think what I promised you before is that we would have a good solid year end in April, and then starting May 1st, you'll start to get your regular monthly report, a regular financial statement every month, starting in May.
Okay. That works. Thank you.
Nothing further.
Nothing further. Right, public relations has an item, as a report.
This is report. Hey, so next week, we're going to go live with our new brand. So, we have a date. I don't know if we're allowed to say what date we are. Okay, so on the 10th, we're gonna go live. Jay and Josh have been working really closely with, A5, and Toby's been involved in some of the things going on, which has been nice. And, so our new brand will go live on the 10th. That's a long and short of it. Anything else that I need to add, or I should say?
Yeah, you can tell them what would be involved.
What does go live mean?
So, our Facebook page is gonna have updated graphics, our website's gonna be recolored and our updated graphics. There was the water bills are going out with a flyer, and there's a contest. So people, not contest, but if they sign up for auto pay, they're gonna get a coffee mug that trustee Coth picked out. So, did I say it wrong?
No.
Okay. And so we're gonna be encouraging people to sign up for auto pay, and then with that, we can gather hopefully email addresses to add to our communications, or email list and that kind of stuff. So, it should be an exciting time. Is there anything that I'm leaving out?
No, we'll also just be sending a memorandum to all staff and to the village board announcing the same thing, but that's in a press release.
And so along with that, will be brand standards, how we use a logo, type and that kind of stuff, how signatures are to be created and that kind of thing to be a professional appearance.
And that the chamber will be launching their new logo as well. They pulled it back a couple of weeks ago and it was premature, so they'll be launching the same day as well.
Do existing auto pay people get a coffee mug?
No, you can opt out and then re-opt.
Kind of like student loans.
Fair.
I think it's like, new customer deals for cell phones. If you're an existing customer, you don't get the deal.
So, like a cell phone.
I would work for my 5G service too.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm gonna
Undo that. and do it
unsign
again.
and resign. Just keep my paperwork handy. All right, very good. Any new business or other announcements?
Mayor, if I could just make one quick announcement.
Yes,
There's
sure.
been quite a bit of interest in the last few days about the streetscape project that'll be happening this summer. I've received several phone calls and met today with the president of the library board. So I just want to tell everybody that next week we'll have what we're going to call a walkabout meeting with the engineering firm and with our landscape architects, as well as our department heads. We'll be walking downtown and starting to talk about the specifics of the engineering. And then we'll be coming back shortly thereafter with a timetable, when construction will begin, and how long we think it will last. We want to really inform our downtown businesses and other organizations what will happen, when it will happen. And I didn't quite expect the information to get out a week early, but there were quite a few calls today and I was able to answer all their questions. But I do want to remind everybody that the parking downtown is going to be more limited than it is now, but much safer. But that is still in flux. So until the final design is done, we're not sure exactly how the parking is going to end up. So that's what most of the questions were about so far. That and the fact that we'll have detours around State Street during construction, and of course, later in the fall then for the intersection of State and 72. But we will have much more information by the next board meeting.
Okay. Anything else?
Can I have a quick update on what are we doing about the Greer Farm?
Route 20, the home.
Oscars.
Yes, the home galleries. Right now, I'm actually waiting for just one. They made a proposal to use crushed asphalt as a surface to park their vehicles on, which is one of the requirements. And that project, to be frank, has just been kind of put on the back burner for a couple of months while we've been involved in some other things. But I was by there just recently and spoke to Oscar briefly, the son. And they do have every intention of coming up to code, but they have, the main thing right now is they have some some large, earth moving equipment. It is not permitted on that site unless it's under roof inside. And, they're just gonna have to find another location for that. But the other trucks, the street licensed vehicles are permitted there. They just have to be parked on a hard surface. And, they initially asked for gravel. We told them no. So now we're looking into whether crushed asphalt, with proper sealing on top could be an adequate surface. And, working with EEI and some other, and also our building department about what's done in some other communities. But it would, any sort of surface that they have will have to have proper aggregate. Even crushed asphalt will just absorb into the ground if it doesn't have the proper, foundation under it. So that's a priority that I need to get to soon. It's just been, taking a back burner for the last couple months.
Jay, just one point. You might want to check with King County, using asphalt grindings, for driveways is, been deemed illegal by the county board. Because the liquid asphalt leaches into the ground and contaminates water. So you might want to check with the county board.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of work to do on that. We are looking, there's been quite a bit of this, as you know, the Park District recently received a variance for a gravel parking lot. This is a trend, and we're not alone, but there are quite a few communities that do have other options for services for parking vehicles. So, but that one's, they also have just a lot of trash that needs to be hauled off. They did have a dumpster and it got filled up and moved away.
They've now dug a hole that they're putting in.
Okay, well, less visible, I guess, then. But I drive by there twice a day and I see it, so it's something that we get to soon.
Okay.
They're well aware of their violations. Now it's just a matter of their solution, whether their solution will be permitted or not.
Any other questions, comments, or business?
About 20.
Yeah.
The big number. So it's on the, there's a old rundown white
Shack,
farmhouse, and then there's a big ranch house in the back in the tree.
You can't even see that. And then there's just a big barn, a big pole mill.
Gotcha. So back behind yeah. All right.
It's right behind the park, or the forest preserve, just north of the forest preserve. Yeah. Very visible.
And,
Hard to miss.
and not pretty.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I had a question about the apartments. I mean, it referenced in the Daily Herald. It looked, from what I understand, that we're planning on entertaining an apartment complex deal in the area that is the southwest corner of Route 72 and Romkey Road, if I'm remembering correctly. But from a zoning perspective, it looks like that's zoned R2, which from what I'm reading in the ordinances, that doesn't support a apartment building or apartment complex. So can I have a little more information about that? Because it sounds like if that's what we're going with and that's what we're going to do, I'm going to need to get my planning and zoning committee together to entertain changing that zoning so that that would be allowed in that area.
Yeah, no, it's in it would definitely need to be changed if it moves forward. It's basically in the very, very early stages of a concept. So they understand that they would need zoning. So it's, we've had one meeting.
Okay. Is this something that's going to come before the board prior to that, or is this something that I'm going to need on my radar as soon as possible?
I don't think we'll need any action very soon. It's just, it's a concept, work in progress, and we'll have plenty of time, plenty of advance notice to run it through any board that will need to meet.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anything else?
I have one question. Did we change our licensing or our permissions in our office suite? Like, I can't get into Teams anymore. I I haven't tried to get into SharePoint because I was gonna build out and load the documents for village services into SharePoint. So I just want to make sure my computer's broke or.
No, I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but we did change the licenses because everybody was, all 85 people, including 33 employees, the village board, and all the boards and commissions were receiving the full office suite. It was pretty expensive. You might recall that we talked here at a board meeting back in January that it was going from 7,000 to 11,000, the cost, because the cost per license had gone up significantly. So we reduced all the licenses just to Outlook, except the employees. And what I mentioned the last time is if anybody does have any problems like you're mentioning, first of all, trustee Reed, I think, has offered a workaround for some other people.
No, Josh came up with that.
Okay, so if not, we can certainly add the licenses back. We're kind of, to be honest, the approach was to reduce them all to, and we did save that $4,000, by the way, it went back to the former amount. So if we have any problems, we're waiting for people to ask, is this, and we can certainly upgrade your license, or Josh can share with you the workaround that we used.
Okay, so I'm okay. My question is, when we were looking, we had talked about, it's more of a strategy question. So if we were talking about how do we create sites or information places or things to, because I can't go in and edit the website. Trustee Klein can't go in at the website to create documents or repositories and limited. We can't just all bombard her with, here's, load the website, right? So if we wanted to create, like if Trustee Krajewski wanted to create a BDC site to have all the information from the BDC and collaboration around stuff, right? Or a project, streetscape, and we wanted some type of collaboration. What do you recommend is the strategy for us as a village, both employees as well as board, to collaborate on those type of things or create those areas? Because usually that's what like Teams or SharePoint or whatever it is used for. And if there's an alternative, great. If not, is there not a need for it?
So no, I don't disagree at all. In fact, when I first came here, I was really excited that we had Teams because as you and I talked before, I've used Slack and I've used other.
Well, I guess that's what I'm wondering. Do we start looking at like a Slack or do we look at an alternative or something else that isn't the $11,000 price tag, but still gives that collaborative ability?
Well, I think, first of all, I think Teams is the right approach, but after 15 months now, I haven't seen anybody really using the tools that we're talking about on Teams. So I think what we need is really and whether or not if we start posting documents, that would everybody that needs those documents have the training and the access to them to use it effectively. So I think it's really it is a very much a strategy discussion that we need to have. And I'm not sure which committee that might fall to. But I would think that there's a couple of pretty sharp people sitting right there that understand it. So we can approach that. It's the first time it's been addressed, I think, for quite a long time.
And that's why I'm just bringing it up is it's not a complaint or it's more of a, hey, if we start looking at how do we become more collaborative across departments or department heads or even within us as a board or the committees, right? If Trustee Robinson had a place and we said, when we redo the board and it's, I'm gonna mess up the name. Planning and zoning commission, right? And here's your spot to have your agendas, your notes, your whatever documents that they feed into based on projects that any trustee or the village president could have access to. Like, what does that collaboration look like? And I think it's a strategy conversation, right? It's not a complaint, so please don't anybody take it that way, but evaluating what that right tool is, because I agree, $11,000, ridiculous for licensing.
Well, that we were all about using it and then we never did.
Well, but that's part of the strategy is it's not just here's a tool, now go use it. It's what should go there, what is its usefulness, what's the directive, right?
And I just, for the record, I did not really intend to lock people out of Teams when all I did was I was trying to eliminate Excel and Word and all those things that nobody ever really used unless you were a village employee.
Yeah.
And so we may have gone a little too far because of the access to Teams, but Josh will talk to you about how to get into Teams privately because it's not that difficult. You can still access it. And then I think we should either, I don't have the expertise to, on my own to develop that strategy. So if we could assign it to a committee at some point, or we could hire an outside expert. But I think we have a lot of knowledge within this board to.
Yeah, I don't think we need to hire outside, but it's definitely worth a conversation.
It sounds like a village service.
And No. That would be hiring out, sir. Josh, I don't need to get in, because the point of Teams Right is for multiple people to collaborate together. I don't need to just be in it, but definitely something maybe down the road. I know we have a lot on our plate right now, but have a conversation around it. Especially like if I think about the Oakstead development, right? If you had a central place where you could just email the board and the village president and say, all of the info you need is here. Rather than worrying about attachments and who's on the latest version of what document, because there were a couple times, right, that we had documents and we're like, shit, am I on the wrong version? Which one am I looking at? Something to think about.
Again, that's why I do think Teams is a great tool. It seems to have all those tools that you have to have several other platforms combined to compete with Teams.
Right.
I think that's why Zoom has been so successful, because it's real lightweight for people that want just a teleconference. Zoom is real easy, but MS Teams has a lot more robust.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should definitely be using it more. It's just whether or not we can get everybody to do that.
Right, and what's the strategy behind it, like driving people to it. Okay, I don't want to, I appreciate the feedback.
Okay, anything else?
You want me to go through all my notes?
No. No, you're not. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Klein,
Hi.
Mr. Coe,
Yes.
Mr. Gajeki,
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Hi.
motion passes 6-0.
All right.
Good night, everybody.